Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. Dead on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamar. Wow. Yeah, the statistics shows my ballistic flows generate big cake, not big candles. That's what you teed them. O's. I'm so ready. How to pack my clothes. I'm so heavy with no D. How them boys. I rock them gators more than Dundee boys. I'm the real raw deal. Y'all just steal decoys. Like
So, and it transformed from fiction into realism, even though it is a work of fiction.
For that green like for Rick, no, not from New Orleans, but can you see me, homie? And oh, mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check. Check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Yeah, look around, left, right, up and down.
So in the time before everything starts, the second book kind of gets into the very beginning of it, and then the third book kind of ends up the first phase of what happened.
My target audience when I wrote it, in my head was basically teenage girls that had read Twilight and were sorry that it was over.
From this reason. And they are animals being arsenic.
But you know, you're the bus driver, right. You know, yeah, there he is, you know. I was like, that's cool, it's like it was made for it.
Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check a text, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check, check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't.
You ever had a dream where you just want so much for yourself, but you don't know how to get there because you don't have many options, but you do anything for your loved ones, your mom, your dad, family members, to the point you don't even know how to get there. You just know the ending result, but you don't even know the middle of how it's going to all happen. And you have to deal with waking up and not having stuff to aspire to, seeing boarded up homes and shattered dreams, and kids not even wanting to play outside. It's like my dad had the American dream of owning a home, which he did. In my small town of New York City, everyone has dreams, but too many are too scared to chase them. I don't want to focus on what society tells me I can and will be. I want to be so naive that dreaming is like anything that my mind creates, it can happen. I want to be fearless in chasing any goal I set my mind to. I want to catch anything that I feel like I deserve, that I feel that's owed to me for my diligence of hard work and being patient and always being at the moment. I feel like I'm always at the right place at the right time. Even my environment now, I know it's all for a reason. It's for me to inspire somebody to say they can do this and they can do that. To go after what you feel like you deserve. That's what I want to live for. And when I die, that's what I want to stand for. That's what I want my legacy to be. Is to be a dreamer. A dreamer of the boy who caught 22.
Yes. Thank you. Welcome to another great show of APN TV Media. We have a lot in store for you today. As a matter of fact, today's topic is, I believe, is self-awareness. and personal motivation.
Yes.
Okay, and that's today's topic, and we will be going through a book. Matter of fact, you know what? The guest on the show, her name is Dr. Julia Bowen. I hope I'm saying that right, Dr. Julia Bowen. And her book is titled To Me I Thee Wed. And that's the key. It's interesting. To Me I Thee Wed. I had to look at that for a moment, and I kept saying, to me I thee wed? To me I thee wed? And you know what? It's very interesting what we're going to get into about personal motivation and self-awareness. So anyway, Bob, you have anything to say? Because you're a political analyst, so...
Well, this sounds like a very interesting book in how to develop your self-respect, love for yourself, things like that. That's something everybody needs to work on. So
you hit it on the nail.
We'll learn a lot today.
You got it. All right, we'll be right back after this.
Spit hot flames, stay sagging in my trousers. Even on church day, the preacher like, no way. Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. That on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamar. Wow. Yeah.
I've run out of answers, I've run out of time, and I'm so confused that I'm losing my mind. It's gonna take a miracle to help me this time. I'm traveling a road that has not one sign. Help me, ooh, have mercy, oh yeah, set my soul free.
He's all right. But when you talk about getting laid off from a job, or you're talking about husband and wife leaving you, you don't know how you're going to get through it. God is still right there.
This is my plea, you see. I need an angel. I'm calling an angel.
But there's also going to be something better. There's a blessing for you that you have to go through.
I'm carrying a load that's too heavy for me. Have nowhere to go, so I'm down on my knees. I'm trying to see the forest, but there's this one tree. Can't understand why I'm sinking so deep. Help me, help me. Won't you have mercy? Set my soul free. And let the bell in my heart ring. Oh, this is my cry. This is my plea. I need an angel. I need an angel. Oh, send me an angel. Send it on down. Hear me now.
Welcome back. Yes, welcome back. Actually, it was self-motivation and personal awareness. Okay, one of the things about the title is To Me I Thee Wed, but there is a subtitle, and we do have Dr. Julia Bowlin on the screen right now as we speak. Hi, Dr. Julia. Or say Dr. Bowlin.
Hello.
Should I also, I'm going to add this for you on your subtitle. is Be Your Own Better Half. Discover how to love, honor, and cherish yourself forever after. Is that right?
That's right.
Glad to have you. Okay, you know what? To get started, you know what? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, I'm a physician, a family physician, and I work full-time in that practice. And I'm an author of the book, as you now know, leader of the trademark Personal Awareness Medicine. So everything I'm about is about teaching people how to love, honor, and cherish themselves, but also how they can play a role in not only recognizing what they could be doing to prevent disease, but what they should be doing to prevent disease, as well as what the things they should not be doing to both prevent disease from a mind, body, and spirit standpoint.
Oh, very good. Yes, yes, yes. Very good. You know, wow, you said all in one nutshell. You know, tell us why you wrote the book. Before we get into it, but tell us why you wrote the book, and basically why did you write that title itself? To Me I Thee Wed. Well, it would sound like it's almost self-explanatory, because you know, we keep looking at, you know, to thee I thee wed or something like that. You know, I'm keep looking at the other person. But for somehow the title itself, when it says to me, it's like I'm actually regaining a relationship to myself.
Correct. One of the first books that I wrote, which still sits in a manuscript, was entitled Broken Bones, Soaring Soul, Ending the Cycle of Self-Harm and Abuse. And it's a very, very deep topic, and it involves people with alcoholism and self-abuse tendencies, both in IV drugs as well as cutting and hitting, all the negative behaviors that might lead us down to a road of mind, body, spirit illness. And I finished the manuscript, and it was hard. It was really long, and it was daunting, and I just needed a break from it. So I decided to table it, and I stepped back, and I went to my nephew's wedding. And my nephew screwed up his wedding vow. And instead of saying, to thee I wed, he said, to me I thee wed. And this may sound like a funny statement, but I really did hear wedding vows at that time. You know, when you get a really good idea, the world stops, it comes onto you, and your whole soul says, yes, that's it. That happened to me right there at his wedding. So the wedding book, which is not about what it's like to marry another individual, I suddenly realized what I could do to take the topic of loving yourself and stopping the neglect and doing what you need to recognize and prevent illness and healthy behavior, so you can finally be peace in your mind, joy in your heart, and happy. And it was this book. And the book literally wrote itself when I finally relaxed into it. So the whole premise behind the book is, you know, when you meet somebody out in the real world, you never met them before. You know, the first thing you look at them is like, you know, what do they look like? Do they look good? Do I like what they look? Do I like their behavior, their personality? And you think, you know, I think I'd like to spend a little more time with you. Have you ever been through that before?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Then the next step is, you know, you make up a date, you go out to eat, you might hang out at lunch, maybe go swimming or exercise, and you think, I kind of really like this person, and you spend more time with each other, and then suddenly you might realize, I think I'd like to just be monogamous, stay alone with you and not date anybody else. So now what you're doing is you're entering that, you went through that flirtatious and learning phase to possibly becoming committed to the relationship, to the point that maybe you decide you want to be engaged with each other. In other words, you want to make that commitment for a lifelong process. And that might lead you to the wedding and the formal commitment in front of your families and champions, and eventually, hopefully, a lifelong relationship. All that, I wrap it up and I put it towards yourself.
Wow. Yes, yes, yes. Wow. You know what? Another thing was that these questions I'm looking at that I have for you. You know, people that has no knowledge, or should I say, I don't want you to say they do not know how to love themselves, but nowadays it seems like they have a disregard for wanting to love themselves. Why is that?
I think there's a lot of layers to that. I believe that core values that we may have grown up with as a child may have taught us. Some examples of a core value would be always be on time, never be late, speak or not speak and be heard, be the good girl. All these core values that we grow up with lead us to whether we put ourselves first. We might have been taught never to be selfish. So these core values help us eventually get to the point of what we think is important when it comes to expressing ourselves, taking care of ourselves, grooming ourselves, educating ourselves. And if we don't, as an adult, at some point, stop and look at where we are, where we have come from, and where we want to be, we may never stop negative core value behavior. So, for example, I'll give you an example if I might. Is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, when I was about 12 years old, I was a very good gymnast, and I had just injured my arm, and I had a cast on. Excuse me. And I came home from practice, and my father said to me, I need you to go out in the lawn and pick up sticks. And I thought to myself, I just injured my arm. I'm tired. I'm sad. And he wants me to pick up sticks? Really? So I did it, and I did it for an hour and a half. We have a big yard. And I came back in, and honestly, I felt better. I got my head on straight. I thought I really did a good job picking up those sticks. I was proud of the huge pile that I had created. My father came out, grabbed me by the hand, and proceeded to point out every tiny little twig I missed.
Oh, wow, that was interesting.
So, what do you think that might have made me feel?
Yes. Hey, you know what, everybody? We'll be right back after this.
Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. That on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamont. Wow. Yeah.
Welcome back. Yes, welcome back. That was very interesting. Sorry, I really thought, and to all the viewers and readers, I didn't know, wasn't sure if you was able to hear what she had established. You know what, Dr. Julia? Mm-hmm. You do me a favor. Can you reiterate that again, please, for us?
The last story?
Yes.
Sure. I was talking about when I was about 12 years old, and I had just injured my wrist in gymnastics, and I had just come home with a cast in from practice, and I was sad and I was depressed. And my father, who's a perfectionist, keep that in mind, said to me, I need you to go out and pick up the sticks in the yard. And in my heart, I'm thinking, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I just want to be held and reassured, and he's making me pick up sticks. So I went out and I picked up the sticks, and I was actually felt better. It kind of cleared my head and got me out of the poor me phase. And I came in and my father grabbed me by the arm and proceeded to walk me all the way across the lawn and show me all the little tiny twigs I had missed. And I posed the question to you, how do you think that made me feel?
That made you feel very bad, I would think. Very upset.
Yes. You're talking about developing depression.
Yeah, I questioned my worth, I questioned my ability, and I questioned whether I was lovable because I didn't seem to be getting support. This is an example of a core value. So at that moment in time, I learned and felt like, one, my father, I would never be good enough. Two, I had to be better, try harder in order to get approval from him. And that was a core value I carried through my whole life. Now, the negative end of that was, yes, I developed horrible depression, horrible eating disorder, and self-abusive behavior. But the bonus, positive end of that spectrum of core value is it led me to be a great student, to be a perfectionist in what I do, and to eventually become a doctor. And I like to think a pretty good doctor because I understand where that pain comes from and all that. So I gave that example because the question you posed to me was, why do people not take care of themselves? Or why do they go down levels of self-neglect or injury? And I say this because, again, we need to stop as adults. Once we hit adulthood, we need to stop and reflect our past core values and think about them. So those core values, like I said before, might be seen and, be seen and not heard, be the good girl, always be on time, be the straight A student, don't be selfish. I could go down the road on and on and on. But as adults, we need to stop, reflect, and see, are these core values serving us today? Or are they causing us internal pain, emotional chaos, and leading us into states of depression, anxiety, and unhappiness?
Very good, very good. You know, you even brought something back. I remember, I think, you know, a lot of my family have and we probably have, a lot of us been through something like this. Like, mine was the shoes. Now, my mother, she was like your dad, actually, in our family, and she was always, you know, do this and do that and do this and do that. And I think that was one of the reasons why, you know, it's interesting we have a certain relation into that, why I've ended up with all these degrees and stuff and going to school for this and going to school for that. Ended up into the entertainment industry and I didn't even know I was in it. I was a kid. And I was doing dancing and stuff like that, dancing and modeling in my younger days. And went to the military with the same process. The funny thing was I was always had to be this, not just a neat freak, but close to perfection. And when one day I did not have my shoes lined up, before I went to school, I didn't have my shoes lined up under the bed in a row. Oh boy, did she go off on me when I got home. I could not believe it. You know, sometimes it scares me even to write a book about it. You know, my mother done passed on, but, you know, I don't know. I don't know. But those things, you know, it was just lately, just a few years back, maybe a couple years back, that I understand what you're saying about that. Because we do go into a certain type, you know, that's an internal, a certain type of depression or subconscious that we automatically stage ourselves, and correct me if I'm wrong, we automatically stage ourselves or set ourselves for a certain type of failure or a certain type of negative acceptance.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, go ahead. Bob?
Yes. I had, listening to what Dr. Julie is saying, makes me wonder if now there's certain things you get out of the Bible, like the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Now, I've always thought that was something good for everyone to believe and try to do. What do you think about injunctions like that in the Bible, or beliefs like that come from the Bible? I'll just go with that.
Well, I think these kind of injunctions or beliefs are certainly culturally heartfelt. In other words, they're put into our self-esteem and self-belief, that example, a perfect one, when you say, do unto others as you would do unto yourself. But I think you have to ask yourself first, are you doing unto yourself in a healthy way? There are people who don't do unto themselves in a loving way, and as a result, don't do unto others in a loving way because they don't know how to do unto themselves in a heart, healthy, loving, and joyous way.
Very good.
That was very well put.
Yes. 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 I like the way you said that. You know what? That does kind of change the dynamics for doing to others and doing to yourself, because if you don't know how to, people would say this, and I know they probably say, I know how to treat myself right, and then you realize they really are not treating themselves right. They're doing things in the opposite direction because they were groomed that way. So yes, people do have to become, self-aware. Is that about right?
Absolutely.
They have to be self-aware.
And the internal dialogue, what's going on in here, is huge.
Yes, yes, and that's the same way we went to about the marriage, which was interesting, because I was thinking about that, and it went back to about marrying, and that we had to. It's like just not only just marrying ourselves. When we're marrying somebody, we have to look at ourselves as well. It's how we're treating them.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. The floor is open for you on that one.
Oh, I could talk for hours on that one. First thing I'm going to start off with is, sometimes your spouse, a loved one, a mother or a sister, just might hurt you. They might just get under your skin and push those buttons.
Yes.
I'm going to say, first of all, don't put the buttons out there to be pushed.
Ooh.
If you're feeling that negative emotion, those I like to call them the 5 emotional anchors: hate, shame, blame, fear, and regret. If you're feeling these intense emotions, very oftentimes the thing that you dislike about another individual is the quality in yourself that you're struggling with.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
That is what I have read, that many people believe that if you dislike or hate someone else, that person may be very much like you.
Correct.
In one or more ways.
It's the issue that you have hidden and or not addressed and need to work on to grow. And that's what my book does. I walk you through these questions because most of the time we don't recognize, we're too close to ourselves to see this behavior and these thoughts as being negative and pulling us down, or negatively anchoring us in these negative states.
Yes, and I have heard people say, that person never shuts up. And usually the person who says that talks an awful lot.
Correct.
I definitely want to go into this one about the marriage process, but not yet, because I love it. I'm going through your book. I love it. I have some favorites in here. That's interesting. The whole book it should be a favorite, but you have some key points, like where you took I'm still stuck with that from to Me I Thee Wed as a marriage process, and that marriage process is how you look at yourself, and how you reunite with yourself in order to see this. But let me go to another question for you here. Do we need to take ourselves seriously? Or how serious do we need to take ourselves?
Well, I think it depends on how you define how serious you take yourself. If you mean serious meaning horrible, negative, over the edge, stern, angry, then I would say no. If you mean taking yourself to a level of self-respect, respecting what your needs are, respecting what you should be thinking, feeling, behaving, to guide you to a state of more peace of mind and joyous love, then that part you should be taking very seriously. But I don't think you should take yourself so serious to the point where you're down on yourself, driving yourself into a self-fulfilling prophecy of negativity.
That's exactly right. But actually, we create a world of negativity among our own selves. We create our own world of negativity. And then we usually gravitate others or other negative. You know what's funny is like, you can draw more negative people, places, and things. More negative. You can start doing more negative things in your life. You can start fellowshipping with yourself around more negative people. People always, they want a pity party, so to speak. When you go into that depression mode because you're not. And what's funny is that's another a way of being self-aware. That the self-awareness is that if you know that you're having problems with yourself, if you know that you're always, of course, and you too, Bob, if just jump in on this, because I'm sure we've all been through that we've done it, or we met somebody who was always down on themselves to the point that when they're down on themselves, they backlash and take it out on others.
Well, that happens, and this ties in with something that I've been wondering about. Because today, one of the problems I believe we have in society is that the children do not get enough discipline, and that's been going on for far too long, and the government's been part of causing that. But when children get too much discipline, it can have a very bad effect also. And how do you strike a happy medium with disciplining children properly so that they grow up loving themselves and so that they know what to do and what not to do?
That's a good point.
My personal opinion is there's been a great deal of shifting in our cultures and societies away from the community evolution. We have become isolated family units, isolated individuals within the family unit, and we're not getting outside resources as psychosocial support. So, for example, in the past, we lived in great communities under one canopy where the grandparents, the cousins, the aunts, the nieces, nephews, they all played a role on how we grew up, on what values we valued, what was important when it came to the society, the culture, and individual family units. And we've become so fractured as a culture that we're not getting, one, the support that we would have gotten from other people, but we're also not getting the education and the resources that can help reflect and make a healthy family unit, let alone a healthy society, grow. So I think you're going to see some major changes in the next 10 to 15 years in our culture in trying to revamp that internal value and society structure.
Then how do we get to the point like you have in chapter 3, love and engagement?
When it comes to the self? When it comes to your individual self?
Yes.
I think, first of all, step one is you have to stop and realize that you haven't been taking the time to grow your own relationship with yourself. You might have been looking out for an individual here, a person here, a program here, a church group here, to fill a gap within yourself that you haven't been able to identify. You have to become the best me before you can be the best we. You have to stop, reflect your past, your present, and your future, and do the lonely work that only you can do when it comes to recognizing the things that are important to you for now, and the things that you want to get out of your life in the future. Because I guarantee you, if you're living in a lot of negative emotional anchors from the past, such as hate, shame, blame, fear, and regret, you're having a very difficult time living happily in the present moment, and you will continue to be unhappy in the future.
Do you recommend any form of, say, meditation or, just sitting back and reflecting on what's happened, what you're doing now? Any recommendations on that?
Yeah, I think most of us especially adults, need some kind of tool, some kind of planning to be able to self-reflect. We need a book, mine for example. We need a course, such as I have on the internet right now, which is all about taking the time, reading some new information, reflecting, writing, regrouping, reanalyzing. And it sounds daunting, but it's really something interesting happens when we take a moment to reflect on ourselves. And that is, we suddenly become a little bit happier. We suddenly become a little more self-trusting. And we suddenly become aware of all the things we haven't been doing that could actually improve our lives, those around us, and our future.
I read a book not that long ago, I'm trying to remember the author's name, but he said if we knew there was gold in our backyard, we'd be out digging for it. But he said there is gold in our subconscious minds and we're not in there looking for it. What do you think of that?
Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. Dead on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamont. Wow. Yeah.
Elaborating because it's in chapter 3. But Dr. Julia Bowling, you know what? Open up a door for us about planning and preparation in your chapter 4.
Okay. Here's something. If you were to decide you're going to completely change your living room, right? You're going to get new couch, new furniture, new carpets, new pictures, new paintings. Because let's just face it, most of us have stuff that we've carried with us for years and years and years. You decide to go to the furniture store and the painting store, and now all of a sudden you're in a state of 100% overwhelmed. I like that. Boy, I like that. I like that color. I like that carpet and ceiling and lights. And now everything is just overwhelming. If we stop and think about what's our favorite color? What style of furniture am I? Am I modern, contemporary, traditional? What kind of personality do I like about myself? Am I no longer the shy individual that I used to be, and more am I out extroverted now, and am I using those skills? You know, we have so many things about ourselves, favorite colors, favorite people. Are we circling ourselves with people that can enhance who we are as an individual? Let's face it, every person that walks into our life either makes us feel good about ourselves or maybe makes us feel uncomfortable about ourselves. Are we doing those kinds of new reflections to see what's important? So for a wedding, you need to stop and think, what kind of wedding dress, if you're a female, what color do I want my bridesmaid colors to be? What people you want to come to the wedding? Like, who are your champions in your life now? So stopping and doing that as an adult really tells a lot about yourself. And you might find that you've been living in a shell that really isn't comfortable anymore. You need to update your closet or yourself or your image or your looks or your makeup or your suits or your ties, just because you're ready to change and make a transition into the present moment rather than living in the past.
Wow.
Okay.
Yes. Very good. Very good. And we'll be right back after this.
Watch it. Got the words on the track. Dead on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamont. Wow. Yeah.
You know what? Actually, she does. Her website. Let's see here. I think it's on the screen right now. But why am I? Oh, here we go. Her website is www.juliabowlinmd.com. And if you look below the screen, you'll probably see it there. www.juliabowlinmd.com. But there's also something else about not just her website, but she has teaching methods, I believe. Can you elaborate on that, Dr. Bowlin, Dr. Julia Bowlin?
Sure, yeah. I have a program called POWER, and it's spelled PAWAR, and that stands for Personal Awareness and Responsibility. And I created a program.
That.
Yeah, because I found in my medical practice that most of my patients know what they should be doing to be healthy, and they know what they should be doing and how to get the resources to get there, but they just don't understand why they don't do what they need to do. And that seems to be a universal concept. I hear it every day. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do this. I just don't know why I don't. So I created a course because most of my patients needed more deeper individual time with me to help kind of uncover the habits of how they think, how they feel, and how they behave, and how they're stopping themselves from getting to that point. So my program online is 25 small videos ranging from 2 minutes to 15 minutes and over 40-something handouts that you can stop, do the question, and reflect on what it is that you're doing that you put on your body, in your body, around your body, as well as how you're thinking, feeling, and behaving. These are just common sense methods that most of us don't take the time to do, that your physician wishes you knew and then they wish they had time to educate you with, that I decided to create a program that people would have access to. So I'm very, very excited about this. I have great feedback. And for me personally, it explains a little bit of some of my journey as to why this is my passion.
On your site, or should I ask you this directly? Do you do online coaching, or is that what that is?
Yeah, there's definitely some free courses online. There's one on emotional smarts. There's one on how to make the 2016 year your best year ever. These are recorded programs that you can listen to at your own leisure. You just have to sign in, log on, and you're good to go. If you want to go deeper, then you can go into that personal awareness power course, and that's available online and very easy to check in and register for that, get your own login. If you're looking for something more, something deeper, then send me an email. I group coaching where I walk people, no more than 5 to 10 people in a group, into that state of personal awareness and responsibility. And I do that both by giving them access to the course, by having phone calls with me in the group, and occasional individual phone calls. So every day I spend time with my patients all day long, but I'm finding that I have a hard time getting and reaching everybody. So I want to do this more into a group setting, and I love speaking. If you have a corporation that would like to bring somebody in and learn how to make your employee the best employee ever by teaching them their own empowered state, that's another thing that I love doing, and teaching corporate wellness.
Wow, very good.
Yeah, that's
very
a great
good.
idea.
Yes.
So how do people get to your site online?
www.juliabowlinmd.com.
Okay.
And My last name is Bowlin. And the power course is actually on you can get to it on my website, but you can also reach it by its own website, and that is www.personalawarenessmedicine.com.
Excellent, excellent.
Okay, very good.
Yes.
I
Now,
would think a lot of people are going to be looking at that.
My goal, if I can just help one individual. Do we have time to tell a little bit of my personal story?
Sure.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
As a child, I mentioned I really struggled horribly with depression, anxiety, feeling very divorced from myself. I had a severe bulimia eating disorder, and I was a cutter, a hitter, and a burner. So I really did not understand how to manage my feelings, my emotions. That led me down to being a heavy smoker, over drinking, all the behaviors that I was looking for, that coping skill to manage the emotional chaos that was going on in my mind, that disconnect between how I think I should feel, but I don't, how I'm behaving, but I know I shouldn't. So that is, when I was 18, I had an incredible spiritual intervention that gave me the opportunity to reflect all that I had done and felt and been through as a child. And I was given the intervention and allowed to see myself in all that past without pain and in a state of love and in a state of reflection. And then I was given the opportunity to see myself in the future. And that was teaching people how to crawl out of that state of emotional chaos and depression, isolation, excuse me, and anxiety. And that is where I'm at now. I created this power course out of my own heart and out of my own love. If I can end the cycle of self-harm, abuse, neglect, and guide people into a state of loving, honoring, and cherishing themselves forever after, that's where my passion comes from. That's why outside of my medical practice, I want to start getting out there into the public and helping more people not feel lonely and isolated and be stuck in those states.
That's excellent.
Wow. Yes, that is excellent.
Now, where is the line, or what is the line between, or I'm not phrasing this right. Why is it some people, instead of just abusing themselves, expand and abuse other people as well? Is there a reason for that, or is that just something that happens?
Well, we tend to repeat the cycles which we are comfortable in and have experience. So a sexual abuser oftentimes was sexually abused as a child. Using the word comfort is awkward in that situation, but it truly is a state of, that's the state that they're most familiar with. So they don't know how to manage certain types of urges or drives. They don't know how to handle certain types of overwhelming those 5 emotional anchors again: hate, shame, fear, regret. And as a result, we're looking for ways to control them, whether it's alcohol or verbally reaching out and yelling at people or trying to control people, hitting people because we don't know how to manage that anger, looking for ways to get it out. We do and perpetuate that with which we have experienced as a child, unless we stop, reflect, grow, reach out for help, and do that lonely work so we can identify our patterns, recognize them, and try to recreate healthier habits and behaviors that can lead us into healthier states of peace in our mind and joy in our hearts.
That's a great answer.
Yes. Yes, it is. Wow. You know what? Do you have? And I know we're running out of time, but you have anything? Any last words to say to the your viewers and readers? Because all in a nutshell, because this is powerful, and I'm still looking through the chapters in your book, and I'm just going, oh my goodness, this is insane, because it actually is like I'm ready to take my own ring, take a marriage ring, and go up to the altar and marry myself.
Basically. And what does that ring to you? It's a symbol of commitment. And
yes.
all my readers, all my people, find something that is a symbol for you. Whether it's a necklace, a hat, a t-shirt, a logo, something that empowers you to remember your commitment to yourself, that you can come back to yourself, reflect, do those mini meditative moments of stopping, breathing, and honoring what you're feeling at that moment. You can do that. Learn how to be happy, be healthy, and behave.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Dr. Julia Bowlin, I would love to have you come back on the show. I'm sure you have, I'd love to go through this again with you. And I also think that you have more books than this, don't you?
Just the one manuscript sitting on the shelf and the personal awareness medicine textbooks that'll be coming out in the next year.
Okay, excellent. I'm looking forward to hearing more about you and more from you. So I'm looking forward to having you again come on the show. Is that possible?
Sure, absolutely. It was a lot of fun. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. As a matter of fact, I got one more thing I want to ask you. Okay, just on that closure that you did, which I like. Is it healthy? It's like I'm asking myself on this one. I'm throwing myself under the bus on this one. Is it healthy to, everybody to treat yourself? Once in a blue moon. Is it healthy to, decide maybe once a month to treat yourself?
Absolutely. Think of it this way. If you have a child who did something well, you give them words of encouragement. You might give them a hug. You might give them a treat. Why should you be any different?
Yes, exactly.
Now, you see anything wrong with a man going out and treating himself to, say, 2 to 3 beers?
Oh,
or
he would think that.
Or is that tending towards the negative that you shouldn't, say, go in that direction?
I think that's a person psyching himself out to get drunk.
I think it depends on where you're coming from. Is it okay to go out and celebrate in a manner that is safe, healthy, and non-negative? Absolutely. There's many ways that you can celebrate. You can celebrate by taking a bath with some great music and a candle. You can celebrate in conversation with other people or in a state of meditation. And 1 to 2 drinks is perfectly fine on moderation and without regularity.
Yes, thank you. I was going to say, I know you don't want to be one like, I'm going out and treat myself to celebrate, but I've got to call a cab home. So anyway,
I wasn't going to do that.
Bob's already thinking about trying to celebrate already. Yes. Well, Julia, Dr. Julia.
Yeah.
It's definitely a pleasure. You are fun. You're fun-loving. You brought a lot of great, knowledgeable things to the table that we can take in without have to, read it like we're reading a science book. I'm glad that you did that, and I thank you for it.
Called a common sense medicine.
Yes, common sense. Yes, common sense method. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care. Thanks again.
You too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye now.
And everybody, we'll be right back after. Oh, yes, Bob.
No, that was fine.
Oh, I was just okay.
Applauding.
I'll tell you what, everybody, we'll be right back after this.
Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. That on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamar. Wow. Yeah.
Why should our kids eat healthy? That's a good question. What happens when they don't eat healthy? Well, eating unhealthy leads to an unhealthy life. What can it lead to, you may ask? It can lead to childhood obesity, which leads to diabetes, high blood pressure, and also heart problems. It also can lead to our kids taking medicines at an early age and also extended hospital stays. How can we bring awareness to our kids about childhood obesity? How can we bring awareness to our parents about childhood obesity? Bringing awareness to our kids and their families about childhood obesity helps the whole family. Everyone is healthy and everyone is happy. I think I might have the solution. Follow me and let's see.
Welcome back. Bob. He's trying to make an escape to get out there, to treat himself. Well, yeah,
Hey,
you can treat yourself.
there's nothing wrong.
There's nothing wrong with treating yourself, my man.
As long as you're not getting carried back to your apartment or whatever.
Yeah, because when you wake up, like she said in one of her chapters, then you actually wake up and you start wondering about, what did I do to myself? Oh, did I was I self-aware?
Yeah. It's tough to be self-aware like that.
Yeah, but that's personal motivation to the extreme, huh?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I bet. But you know what? I hope we learned something today with all this from Dr. Julia Bowlin, where her book title is "To Me I Thee Wed." So this is about personal motivation, self-awareness, or should I say personal awareness, self-motivation, and personal awareness.
Yes.
So you know what? That was great for today's topic. And we're looking to see more of her coming in the near future. All right. Well, I'd like to thank everybody for being here. And I tell you what, God bless and see you next week.
Yeah, watch it. Got the words on the track. That on the boards. Church. Bishop Lamont. Wow. Yeah, the statistics shows my ballistic flows generate big cake, not with candles that spaghetti them O's. I'm so ready, how to pack my clothes. I'm so heavy with no D, how them boys. I rock them gators more than Dundee boys. I'm the real raw deal, y'all just steal decoys like them duck hunters running, blowing whistles, making noise. It's official, tell them nizzles, I'm the dizzle, flow sizzle, folk shizzle. I'm off the hizzy, busy signal. I got that hustle muscle for that green like before Rick. No, not from New Orleans, but can you see me, homie? Mic check, check 1, 2. If it ain't a check attached, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Mic check 1, 2. If it ain't a check attached, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Yeah, look around, left, right, up and down. Ain't nobody like me. Wrist so icy, colors like iced tea. Them diamonds get pricey. Got rich now, everybody so nice to me. I'm a whiz kid, Doogie Howser. Just like the game, snatch your dame, I'm Bowser. Spit hot flames, stay sagging in my trousers. Even on church day, the preacher like no way. And Miss Jenkins like, Lord, take them demons away. In my headphones, Jesus walks by Kanye. Macking to a chickie, trying to get some kissy. You can nibble on my neck, but no hickey. Mic check 1, 2. If it ain't a check attached, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Mic check 1, 2. If it ain't a check attached, that's all I'm gon' do. Mic check 1, 2. If you ain't talking dollars, I can't understand you. Baby, I'm the bomb diggy. Girls be begging for another chance like I'm Biggie. I run the city, call me P. Diddy. My life's Whoopi Goldberg, it ain't nothing pretty. It's been a long time coming, this ain't happened quickly. Overnight, try more like over and over until the morning light. Steady trying to get it